Yeah, nice craft project. I said, good luck, make beautiful things.
Okay, we're gonna get started. This is Cooking with Marty 101.
Oh.
So if you're for the fire safety in-service, that's down the hallway by the videos. So you know what I'm expecting. Now we're going to do a class on fire safety. We do it every year. And I know Nellie usually starts off with a quote to start her in-services and her things. So I'm going to start off with a joke because that's the way I usually go. So anybody know what the Mexican firefighters name their kids?
John.
No.
Jose.
Jose and Jose.
Oh.
That's what they usually name their kids, Jose and Jose. I don't know what Jose is, but. So fire safety is very, very important. It's probably one of the most important things you want to know. I'm very prejudiced because I've taught it for many years within the schools and throughout the community with adult programs and everything, and I take it very serious. Where I used to work before as a firefighter, it's not a pretty sight when you see someone burned or taking someone out of the building that's been burned, or having a person that succumbed to injuries from a fire. And that's why it's very important, especially working with the elderly here. This is a high-risk environment here. That's why when the fire department comes, you always, I know a lot of people will say, geez, do they really need all those trucks coming down the driveway? There's like 14 of them out there. It's a very high-risk facility because the chances of a loss of life are very great here. And if there was a fire, you would need all those hands and then some from other communities to come in to help. So you people here are the first line of defense in helping with fire safety. And fire safety starts with prevention. Even at home, we tell you to test your smoke detectors twice a year. That also goes for carbon monoxide detectors. They should be tested. Change the batteries twice a year. Don't just change the batteries, but test them as well. When I do the smoke and the CO detectors here, when I get done putting a fresh battery, I always make them ring out to make sure that they're working properly. You can put in a battery maybe backwards, and then all of a sudden you think it's good for the whole year, and it's not. So always put in the batteries twice a year, usually in October is one of the first ones, usually when we change the clocks. Okay, and test it when you're done with it. It's very, very, very important. I got a horse throat. Do we got any champagne?
I have a lifesaver in my pocket.
No, unless sugar-free lifesaver. Nah. So here at the Arbors, we have two different types of fire suppression systems that will tell us if there's a fire in the building. One is the local alarms that's in everybody's room. A local alarm consists of a smoke detector that's in everyone's bedroom here. This is one of the detectors that's in everyone's bedroom here. There are two types of detectors. One sees flame, the other sees smoke. One's a photoelectric, one's ionization. And that's why if you look at all the apartments here, you'll see one in the bedroom that detects smoke. You'll see one in the kitchen, which is ionization, that detects the flame. There are two separate detectors. The one in the kitchen is hardwired. That means it does not have a battery. So if that detector that goes off in the kitchen is beeping, it's because there's a major problem with that detector. It needs to be changed out. If the one that is beeping in the bedroom starts going off, it's because the battery is low. And usually, you can hear the battery being low by a little chirp. And I have a little CO detector that I will put on for you. And it's similar to the smoke detector. This battery is low, so every once in a while you'll hear it chirp, just like that. And the same thing with the smoke detector. So if you're walking down the hall, and you happen to be walking by, and it does one of those things where it chirps, you know it's a low battery. It's nothing to do with a smoke or a CO detector going off. It's because the battery is low. In a little while you'll hear that chirp again. It means you got to change the battery. Now we don't know if it's the smoke or the CO detector. You just have to listen for them and see which one is chirping. When a smoke detector that goes off in the bedroom goes off, or one of the, well, not so much these, but the ones in the bedroom, they'll sound like this. It usually will go constant like that. It doesn't stop. When a CO detector goes off, it's 4 beeps, then it stops. 4 beeps, then it stops. It's quite different from my smoke detector. What you should be doing is, if one of these goes off in the middle of the night, and it's just beeping, needs the battery to be changed, you can let it go to the morning unless it's bothering the resident. If it's bothering the resident, you can go down the hallway, get one of the step ladders, and just take the battery out. Very simple. Just take the battery out, it'll stop beeping. Leave it open like this for me. That way, if you forget to tell me, and someone else goes in and says, hey, there's a smoke detector with the cover open, I can look and see that there's no battery in it. If you close the cover and forget to tell somebody, especially me, then we're not going to know that this one doesn't have a smoke detector battery in it. When these CO detectors go off, sounds a little bit different than the smoke detector. These will make 4 beeps in a row, a pause and 4 more beeps. Please. Hello? Anybody in there? Okay, that's why it's sitting in my office, it's no good. But these will go, and that's why that one was sitting in my office, because it's no good. But they'll go, CO detectors will go beep, 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 a pause, beep, 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 a pause, beep, 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 a pause. With the smoke detectors, just constantly beep, 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 beep. How do you know if it's the difference in the detection, which one it is? By the sound of it. If you hear the 4 beeps in a row, then a pause, and 4 more beeps, it's the CO detector. If it's a constant beep, 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 it's the smoke detector. So if you hear that constant beep, 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 and you go into somebody's room, remember that little acronym that we use? And for some of you who've been here for many, many years, it's the word RACE, little acronym RACE. R is for respond, you respond to where the beep is coming from. If it's over here in 225, you go to 225. So R is to respond. A is to announce. Announce on the walkie when you get in there. If you open up the door and all of a sudden there's a lot of smoke in there, get on your walkie and announce it, especially if it's someone is at the front desk like a receptionist, because otherwise no one is going to know that room is filling up with smoke until that smoke gets up to the hallway. So if you open up the door and there's a lot of smoke in there, announce and remove that resident from the room. Call your helpers up here. Up here in Reflections you have 2, sometimes 1 other person. Get them to come down and move that resident out of the room. And if you need to, if there's a big fire in there, shut the door after you get the resident out, of course, and remove the adjacent rooms there too. So you caught the same thing I got. I caught it from you. So, yes, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
That's good. So, I respond, A announce the alarm. C is for containment. Just like she said, shut the door. You want to contain that smoke into that room, or if there's fire, you want to contain it into that room. E is for extinguish, if you know how to. If you know how to use one of these, great. We had a small fire down in 120 one time, did a microwave, and someone from the kitchen actually got the extinguisher because they heard all the commotion, and they put out the fire before the fire department got there. Excellent work. But if you don't know how to use this, you're going to hurt yourself or do more damage to other people's stuff. So, if the smoke detector goes off in somebody's room, it's a local alarm. If that smoke gets out into the hallway, into a common area is anywhere anyone can go. Whether it be the dining room here, whether it be a hallway, whether it be one of the activity rooms, it's a common area. Residents can go there, visitors can go there, staff can go there. That's why it's a common area. The common areas, these smoke detectors are not a local alarm. Once these are activated, they will go directly to the fire department. When these become activated, all these doors become demagnetized. That little round thing on the door, becomes demagnetized. So all the doors in this whole building are going to shut, which brings us to another problem. Not only are the doors becoming demagnetized, all these strobe lights will go off and all the horns will sound throughout the building. You're going to hear that loud throughout the whole building. And it's, everybody says, geez, I can't even hear. Residents are going to become very, very upset sometimes, especially if they're dementia residents. They're going to be a little bit upset with the loud noise. Strobe lights sometimes can cause seizures in a lot of people. So the best thing to do is to keep them calm. Remain calm yourself. If you all of a sudden, if all the fire alarm goes off and you start saying, oh my God, I don't want, oh gee, you start panicking, they're going to panic. So if you remain calm, everything will be fine. Tell the residents, stay in your room, everything's okay, it's just a drill. We'll take care of it. If we need to move you, we'll tell you. Just relax, go back in your room. It's going to be quieter in their rooms than out in the hallways, because out in the hallways we have all these strobes and horns going off. In the rooms, not so much. As I told you, all these doors become demagnetized. That's to what we call compartmentize a fire if it should happen within the building. These are all fire-rated doors. Above us here is actually a firewall up in the attic that goes right across. So if a fire should start in this area here, it's going to take a while before it penetrates past this firewall or past this door. That's why all these areas are compartmentized. But once they become demagnetized, it also poses another problem for us, especially up in the reflections area. Those become demagnetized, so do these. So that means anyone can just push on this door and go right out because the magnets are not on there. Like now, I can't open it unless I have the code because it's magnetized up here. When these become demagnetized, these also do, and the door will open for anyone. That's why it's so important that you put someone down at that corner, over here, and down at that corner, watching this reflections hallway. The reason why I say down there is we have 217 down in that corner. From here, you can't see if the residents from 217 come out and exit down those doors that are down there. That's double doors. If they go down the hall, terrific. If they go down the stairwell, not so good. So, having somebody just stand here is not a good solution. One down there, one here, and one down here. Now we also, when that central alarm goes off, during the daytime it's a lot easier. We have 3 locations that we can tell where it's activated. And that's because we have a, excuse me, we have addressable systems here in this building. So whatever device is activated, whether it's a smoke detector or a pull station in the hallways, you know those little red boxes that you say it says pull on it, don't really pull it because that'll set off the fire alarm. That's in case you have a fire, you pull on one of those little red boxes. So that will tell us exactly where it is. But during the daytime while the office is open, we have 3 areas we can find out where the activation took place. One is in Sherry's office against the main fire alarm panel. And by the way, even if you work 11 to 7, 3 to 11, or 7 to 3. 7 to 3 not so much, but 11 to 7 and 3 to 11, if the fire department comes here, like they did a while back, and they say, where's the panel? I'm telling you, I'm so embarrassed, first of all, that a lieutenant would have to ask that, because when I was on the fire department, I toured every single building in the whole community, looking for fire safety violations, but also familiarizing my guys with what was in the building. Different, whether it be chemicals, whether it be life safety, whether it be compartmentalization, if someone has done some renovations in the building. I wanted to make sure they knew what was going on, so when we go to an alarm, they know exactly what they're doing. It was kind of embarrassing about a month ago when the fire department comes here and they ask the RCA, where's the fire alarm? They should have known that. But if unfortunately you have to ask, if they have to ask you, where's the fire alarm panel? It's in the main fire alarm panel is in Sherry's office behind the door, which they have the keys. There's a little black box out to the right of the main doors as you come in. When you go out today, look to the right of the door, or you'll be going out, look to the left of the door. you'll see a little black box up there that contains all the keys to the building. It won't help you because you don't have the main key to get in here, neither do I. It's the fire key. And only the firefighters have on each truck. So they go in there, they get the main keys, and they can go anywhere within the building, including access to that fire alarm. So if you're working 3 to 11 or 11 to 7 and they ask you that stupid question, you can say, Marty told you that you should already know what this is, but since you don't know, I'll show you. Okay? Nothing better than showing a firefighter around. So the best place to look is the main panel. So if it's 7 to 3, someone from the main office or the receptionist can go in there and look on the panel. There'll be a red light blinking on, a solid red light on there. It usually says fire acknowledge. Unfortunately, if that's locked up or Rebecca can't get in there, there are other places. There are 2 other places they call remote annunciators. One is up here in the RCA office, one is downstairs in the RCA office. The same call system that you use when the pages go on. If someone pulls the string, a call light, it goes on that thing. The only difference is, when it shows up on those panels, it's an orange light. Not too late, you have to stay on the corner. The orange light shows up, and that's the difference. When a fire alarm comes in, again, it says fire acknowledged, a red light, solid red light will come on. Push that button there. It's not going to do any harm, because when you push that button on that little screen in front of you, it only comes up in English. So I tried to get it to come up in Portuguese and Spanish and Polish, but it only comes up in English. It'll tell you exactly what device is activated. So if you push it and it says 2nd floor dining room or country kitchen, I don't know what's on there. I didn't see you ask for permission to get up. Jeez. This detector will be activated. So how do you know it's this detector and not that detector? You come into this room and you say, okay, you see, eeny, meeny, eeny, meeny. How do you know? Very simple. On these detectors, there's a little red light. And if you're sitting in the right position somewhere around here, are you catching all this?
I am.
On this side, you can see that little blinking light up there. On that side, it should be on this side, right? It's a little blinking light. If that's the detector that's activated, it's going to be solid red. It's not going to be blinking like that. So if you look at this one and it's still blinking, go over to that one, I guarantee you that one will be solid red. So once again, get on your walkie and say, I'm up here in the country kitchen. I have the detector that's activated, but there's no smoke, no fire. So that way, if there's a receptionist downstairs, they can call the fire department. And if it was during the day, Rebecca would call the fire department and say, this is the Arbison time. Our fire alarm is going off. We found the detector that's activated. There's no smoke, no fire. We don't know why it activated. They're going to dummy down the response. Instead of coming with 14 trucks and a bunch of cute-looking firefighters, or fire ladies, they're only going to come with 1 truck to reset the panel, not a bunch of them. And that helps in a lot of different ways, because if there's an emergency somewhere else in the town, if all the trucks go here and there's a fire on the other side of the community, even though this is a high-risk facility, now it's going to take them a lot longer to get back to the other side of the community. So that helps tremendously when they call and they say, there's no smoke or fire, it looks like a faulty detector. They'll come here. If they come here while you're here, please ask them to blow it out. They should, what they normally should do is, if you have nice firefighters who will take care of their community, they should take a little air hose and they blow it out, because if a spider was in there, or a cobweb, or even dust went through there, and it set off that detector, if they didn't blow it out, they're going to keep coming back again and again. And then the 3rd time, they're going to finally say, hey, you know, you got to change out the detector, because sometimes they do become faulty, which is what happened down here. But they had to come back 2 other times because they weren't smart enough the first time to blow out the smoke detector. So just ask them, could you just like blow it out? make sure there's nothing inside there, and they'll normally do it on their own. Okay? But that's the easy part. The hard part is now, once again, when the firefighters get here, they're gonna shut off the main panel. And when I say shut it off, they're gonna silence all these horns and strobe lights. The strobe lights will still flash, but the horns won't be going, like that. It'll be nice and quiet. That's why we can talk on our radios, or they can talk on the radios. That doesn't mean that these doors will become magnetized. Even if the horns are shut off, if you take this door and pull it back, and the thing hasn't been reset, the door's just gonna go like that. So when they reset the panel downstairs, it usually takes about 10 seconds. After they reset the panel, check all the doors. Whoever's down there with the firefighters, make the announcement. The fire department has reset the panel, check your doors and reflections, and the rest of the building. If you're downstairs in traditional or upstairs in traditional over there, go around, pull all the doors back, pull all the doors back, and put them open like this again. If you're in reflections, check all these doors that they've become magnetized. Okay? And people can't get out. So they're all set. Go around to all the doors. Because sometimes, unfortunately, maybe it didn't grab, and you just say, these two doors are fine, you're not going to check the rest of them. It's a long way to walk down there and down there. Check all the doors. It's very, very important, so that they're remagnetized. Are we good so far? Excellent. So, the last thing I want to tell you about, if there was a fire in a room, or anywhere in the building, you're the only kitchen staff up here, huh? Oh, two people in the kitchen. If you're ever lucky enough to be in the kitchen when there's a fire, and I'm not talking about a little cooking fire, because I know Kenny sometimes will put that sherry on top of the, not the sherry that's in the office down there, but the cooking sherry on top of the thing to make it look like he's a good chef, and the flame comes up, you know, and he cooks that food, and it looks so good. It really does. Something like that, it's no big deal. But if there was ever a big fire, grease fire down there, what would you think the last thing you'd want to throw on a grease fire?
Water.
Water. It's going to make it even bigger. So if there's a grease fire down there and the Ansel system hasn't gone off down there, that means all those little things down there, then you're going to have to take action and put it out yourself. You don't need to grab one of these. You can if you want. If you're smart enough and know how to use it, you can use this fire extinguisher. There is one downstairs, right in that kitchen, as soon as you go in the door. But if it's a big enough fire where it's going to involve like the whole cooktop and everything like that, on the wall over by where the kitchen sinks are, there's a little device over there. And it's similar to like a fire extinguisher device, a little pin. You pull the pin and pull down on that handle, and it's going to set off the Ansel system in the kitchen. When that happens, get your butt out of that kitchen, shut both doors as quick as you can. Because just like at a gas station, when the Ansel system goes off, all those little heads will pop off, and all the nasty chemicals inside this thing is going to come out all over the thing.
One's in the kitchen, supposed to be non-toxic now.
Now they are. God only knows what's in that little container you have down there.
They get changed about every year. They gotta do those. Only on a service.
Did you ever see him take it down?
I haven't been here for a service on it yet.
Yeah, the tag's good. Okay, let's put a new tag on there. So, you can say that. Cut! Don't use that on tape. But they're supposed to be non-toxic. But inside these fire extinguishers, fire needs one very important thing to grow. It needs oxygen. Just like we need to breathe and sustain life, fire needs oxygen to breathe. And what this does, these chemicals in here in the, not so much the carbon dioxide extinguishers, but the carbon monoxide, not so much in the carbon monoxide extinguishers, but the carbon dioxide extinguishers will throw some real nasty chemicals. They'll coat everything. If it gets on a car, And I was gonna go outside and do it, but it's a windy day, as you can see, you know. And you don't really notice it from here, but people who were out here when I did it before, you can tell, that carries a ways. And if it gets on your car, it's gonna discolor your car and everything. But when these things go off, it's gonna smother the fire. And if you happen to be in its weight, it's gonna smother you. You're gonna take one breath of that, it's gonna go into your lungs, and you're gonna go down. How long you're down depends on if you're gonna survive or not. So whatever you do, be smart. How to use these things is a little acronym called PASS. The P stands for pull the pin. Every extinguisher has a little pin on it. You pull the pin. The A is for aim the nozzle. You want to aim the nozzle at what you're putting out, the fire. And at the fire, you want to aim at the base. Don't aim up high, aim at the base, because that's the hottest point. If you aim high, it's really not going to work as good. It will work, but aim at the base. The first S is for squeeze the handle. You squeeze these two handles together. The second S is to sweep it. You want to go back and forth. Now, there's a very important thing to remember. If a fire starts at this table here, and I come running into the room, firefighter Manny here is going to grab the fire extinguisher, I'm going to put out the fire. I want to make sure one thing, my back is to the door. You never want to get between your exit and the fire. Because if I came in here and I'm like, oh geez, the fire's getting bigger, and I walk to this side, and now I squirt that nasty fire extinguisher from this angle here. And believe me, when I tell you, and you can ask anyone that was here for the demonstration, a big cloud of chemicals will come out. It's not just a little tiny thing, it's a big cloud. Now, my exit is over there. I gotta walk through that cloud. And if I don't hold my breath that whole time, and I breathe in one breath of that, I'm gonna go down. And if you go down, and all of a sudden more of that starts getting into your lungs, you're probably gonna die. I'm not gonna lie to you, you're probably gonna die. Because that's what it's designed to do, is to take the oxygen out of your air. Whether the air is in your lungs or the air is in the room, it's going to take the oxygen out of the air. So whatever you want to do, make sure that your back is to the door. Again, pull the pin, aim it at the base of the fire, squeeze and sweep. If the fire doesn't go out, say it was a rip-roaring fire and it still wasn't going out and you used whatever you had in there, you can always just get out the door, shut the door. If the fire alarms haven't gone off, which they should have gone off, by all means, pull a hook or announce it on the walkie. When I say pull a hook, I mean pull one of those little red things up the hallways here. Do not the hallways like stairwells. Pull one of those things there. All the fire alarms will go off. Now, if the fire is big enough, not only will the fire alarm go off if you haven't put it out, what do you think, what else is probably going to go off? The sprinkler heads. This building and all the buildings are sprinkled. That's a great, great asset. This building is sprinkled. So if there is a fire, we've had one here before, these heads will pop out underneath that little round cover. There's a sprinkler head throughout the building, well, throughout the whole room. And they're in the people's rooms too. That cover will pop off, the water will come out, which is going to put out the fire, but the next biggest thing we're going to worry about is water damage. So if a sprinkler head goes off, by all means, call me ASAP. After you get all the residents to safety, let me know. Even if there's no fire and one of these sprinkler heads goes off, the fire alarm, one of these gets activated, the fire alarm is definitely going to go off. You don't even have to worry about calling the fire department. That's going to go off. All the doors are going to shut. One of these has become activated. Sometimes it could be just a frozen head. What happens in the wintertime, sometimes these things will freeze, and then when spring starts to come, they become unthawed, and there's a little piece of glass in that sprinkler, and that's what actually breaks and lets the water come out, just a tiny little piece of glass. That thing will all of a sudden just burst, and the water damage is going to be very, very phenomenal. You can't believe how many gallons of water comes out of that. You think a garden hose just hanging up there is like nothing. It's like a fire hose that squirts the water out. So much so that you wouldn't be able to stand here and look up at that. So if that happens, call me right away. The fire department's going to be coming. The sprinkler room, this is important too. The sprinkler room, if you come down by 134 and 135, and you go through that next set before you come to the laundry room, on the left is the sprinkler room door. It has a big sign that says sprinkler room. Okay? Make sure the fire department, because God only knows if you get that wacky crew again, they're gonna say, where's your sprinkler room? You know, they're probably gonna be looking outside. It's right there. Show them. Take them by the hand, show them where the sprinkler room is. That's very important because they have to shut down the water to stop the flow of that sprinkler. Okay, that's extremely important. And the reason why I tell you to call me so much, they're gonna be here before I will get here, is to clean up the water because we're gonna have a ton of water to clean up. Especially on the second floor, water always runs downhill. If it happens on the first floor, not so much bad. Happens on the second floor, very much bad. Because it's gonna go through the floor onto the first floor and we're gonna have a lot of water damage. So that's very important. Questions on that? Does anyone have any questions that I've gone over the stuff? Yes?
I'm here, where's the sprinkler room at?
The sprinkler, if you were coming from the gift shop, from the lobby, the gift shop is on your right, and then the activity room, then 134 and 135. We go through that next little doorway on the left, that first door on your left, it says sprinkler room, it's right there. Okay, and the fire department does have a key for that too. That's very important. If they say, can you open it? Again, tell them about the knock spots up front. The reason why I tell you this is very, very important. And again, I'm embarrassed to say it, that crew didn't know where the main panel was and didn't know where the controls were and everything. It's embarrassing. But if they need help, we can show them. If we do have to evacuate this building, now you know if the fire alarm goes off, we shelter in place. That means keep all the residents in the room. However, if there was a significant fire in one of these rooms where we had to get people away from that area, or even worse, say there was a gas leak, we had to evacuate the building. When the residents go out the front door, make sure you bring them to the left. Go past Nellie's office, go down past all those handicap spots and bring them down that way there. Do not bring them to the right of the building as you go out. The fire department connection is on the right of the building. The first truck that comes in will come around to that side of the building. And if it is something where they have to connect on to the fire department connection there, they're going to be bringing hoses from their truck into that little connection that's on the wall there and onto the hydrant. So they're going to have multiple hoses going. If we have the residents standing over in that area there, it's going to be sheer mayhem. By the time we try to get them out of the way, bring them down that way there. Okay? That way there, we can always utilize the bus if we have to. If it's inclement weather, we can put them on the bus or some other means. But bring them to the left. Because a lot of those firefighters don't drive as good as I used to do. They're not as smart as they either. We just found out not too long ago. It's very embarrassing about that. So, questions on anything? Anything at all? You guys have no questions for me? Should I ask you some questions?
Yeah.
I
No,
love
no,
it
no,
when
no, no, no.
someone says that. What's the acronym that we use to use a fire extinguisher?
Pass.
And what's the P
No, I
stand
mean,
for?
ask her.
What's the P stand for?
Pull the pin.
Hold the pin. Okay,
Aim.
what's the A stand
Aim.
for? Rebecca!
She's doing it all, she's got it.
Oh, okay. Rebecca.
The
Your
A
turn.
stands for aim. Norma, what's the S stand for? The first S.
Squeeze.
Squeeze. Victoria, what's the second S for?
Pass. She passed a bit.
Sweep.
Yes.
Sweep back and forth. Okay? What kind of detector is this? Smoke or CO? What kind of detector is this? Smoke or CO? CO. What does a CO detector smell?
No. Oh, I failed.
I
Right.
Yes.
See? Good.
I did get it right.
CO is colorless, you can't see it, so you can't see it like smoke. It's odorless, you can't smell it. Like when a gas leak, they have a captain in there, and the captain smells like rotten eggs. They put that in there specifically if there's a gas leak, and you smell rotten eggs, and it's not me, having a lot of beans the night before for supper, and you smell those rotten eggs, you will say, oh boy, we got a gas leak. If that happens, please, whatever you do, get on the walkies. It could be a simple thing as a pilot might be out in the kitchen and tell Kenny and I and say, hey, I smell gas in the kitchen there. And we'll go in and, yeah, maybe there was a pilot that flew out. It could be in one of the laundry rooms. All these laundry rooms have gas dryers. One of the pilot lights might have gone out. Could be the fireplace. Somebody might have pushed on the fireplace, it didn't go on, or it misfired, and the gas is still flowing. If you smell that rotten egg smell, you didn't have beans, by all means, call somebody. And even if it's the fire department, you don't need to call the gas company. Fire department will come down with the alarms and they'll sweep it. If it's at night, they'll come down and they'll sweep the area and they'll say, yeah, you have to evacuate the area. But CO is colorless, it's tasteless, you can't taste it, it's not like an almond color, almond taste. So these detectors are very important. They're battery operated and operated by AC power. Plug them in the walls and the batteries as well. One thing I'm going to leave you with before we go today is kind of related to fire safety. If the power should go out here for any reason, and this is very important, if the power should go out, know the people who are on oxygen, who rely on oxygen, because if they have those, if they have those oxygen systems in their room, you got to get them on portable AC. Because the generator will kick on, you'll have emergency lights down the hallway, but not all the receptacles are going to be powered. So it's very important, if you have to, if the power goes out and you know somebody that is on O2 throughout the building, and you should know who's on your assignment, who's on oxygen, go in there, put them on portable AC, bring them down to the sitting area down in the living room there. If you want to bring down, if we know it's going to be a long-term thing, we can bring down the tanks. Thank you, the concentrator. And we can plug it in down there because we have power in the living room. Okay, but that will be a long-term thing. Call me, especially if the power goes out, because I'll call the TNOP and we'll get an exact ETA on when the power is going to come back. If we know like a tree has come down and it's going to be a while, we'll definitely bring them down there so they don't go through all the portable routine. Everybody okay on everything? You ready to go out there and fight fires? You sure? I had one more joke to end it. I can't think of what it was. That's why I'm fucking for a room up here. There's no vacancies. Okay, I guess that's it. So you have no other questions? I can't think of a joke. If I knew the joke, I would tell you. But I'll think of it when I'm driving to the doctor's.